you have continued to support yourself in what I consider one of the smartest entrepreneurial moves by building your business while you're keeping your day job.
Welcome to the RV Entrepreneur Podcast, the weekly show for nomads, work campers, RVers, and entrepreneurs looking to earn a living or build a business while enjoying the RV lifestyle. This week's hosts are Rose and Glynn Willard. Let's settle in and enjoy the RV Entrepreneur Podcast, brought to you by RV Life.
Hello and welcome back to the RV Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Rose Willard and I am super excited to have my husband Glynn joining me as co-host today.
Hey there, this is my first time co-hosting, so I can get my feet wet before hosting my own episodes. If you're curious to learn more about my background and why I've joined the team, be sure to check out our Get to Know Us episode number 369.
Today, we're thrilled to have Chris Kapperman on the podcast. Glynn and I first met Chris at the Content Creators Meetup in Hershey, Pennsylvania this past September. Chris has been full-time RVing with his family for 6 years, but what makes his journey unique is that he's managed to maintain a full-time in-person job while also building a successful YouTube channel focused on RV maintenance, repairs, and product reviews. You're probably wondering, how in the world does he pull that off? Well, in this episode, we dive into exactly that. We'll discuss how Chris balances his career with content creation, the importance of RV upkeep, and the challenges and strategies behind growing an online presence. Plus, Chris shares some fantastic insights about living the RV lifestyle as a family. So let's get started. Hey, Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We are great. We're so excited to chat with you today. This is so cool because we first met you in person at the RV Life after party during the Hershey RV show in Hershey, PA back in September. And we had a really great time chatting with you, kind of getting to know you. And you're super tall. It was cool. And we're so glad you agreed to be on the show.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, my pleasure. I really enjoyed chatting with you guys too. And those little RV content creator meetups are always a lot of fun.
They are. And to meet everyone in person was awesome. I highly recommend those. So you and your family currently full-time in your fifth wheel RV, and you've been doing that for 6 years. And You have a successful YouTube channel about your RV life, but mostly about RV maintenance, repairs, and products, which are very well done and very helpful. And then you also work and live on tugboats for 2 weeks at a time in New York City. And then you fly back to your campsite for 2 weeks off. I'm really curious about how all that plays out, and we'll get into that. But first, let's start off the conversation with who you were in life before you started living in an RV.
Okay. Not too much was different, to be honest with you. Had the same job, flying back and forth between our house and my job, and we weren't really expecting to get into RV life. It's something that kind of just happened for us, and it was actually a pretty easy transition because at the time we were staying with my wife's parents in Kentucky on their farm. We owned 2 homes, but we were already renting both of them out, and so once we decided to make the plunge and get into RV life, it was kind of an easy transition because we didn't have to worry about selling houses or packing things up and all that kind of stuff. So, honestly, the life wasn't too much different. We were always kind of traveling a lot, to begin with, just without the RV. We were on my 2 weeks home. We were usually on the road visiting friends and family and always staying pretty active as it was. So.
Yeah, that sounds like it's almost a natural transition.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty easy, I would say. Yeah, probably a lot easier than most.
Well, that made the decision to go full-time very easy, didn't it?
It did. The decision kind of happened. We always kind of knew we wanted an RV, and we were, like most people, waiting until I retired from work one day to take the plunge and do it. My parents did it way back in the 90s. They full-time RV'd for 10 years. I always thought it was pretty neat as a teenager. Their lifestyle, and me and my wife were gonna, get into that. But like most people, we just didn't think we could do it yet. And as we started thinking about it and talking about it, we're like, well, what's the difference if I'm flying to New York from Charleston or Savannah, that's where we used to live. Or if I'm flying to New York from Idaho or Montana, where the camper's at. So we decided with my job and just the way, I basically have a half a year off, that we could take the plunge now and let's do it while one of our sons is still young enough to enjoy it and travel with us. And so we decided, we basically said, well, why wait? That's how the YouTube channel name came about. We said, why wait? Let's do this now. Too many people put it off. They never get around to it. And we didn't want to wake up one day and regret it. So we decided to go for it. And then, we always knew you could go back to a house if we didn't like it or if it didn't work out. So it wasn't the end all, and so far it's worked out.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly has. Do you feel like the time that you had as a child, being in an RV with your parents really helped you prepare for what you were producing in your videos?
Well, I was already grown up. They basically had to wait until he retired, until me and my sister were, old enough to move out of the house. So when they started full-time RVing, I was already about 19 years old. And, they moved out to the lake with the camper, and they had a houseboat and a jet boat. And me and my friends at that age would actually always go out and go hang out with them because it was the funnest place to be. They had the camper, they were in the campground, they had the boats. And so it was just always a real good time going up and just seeing how they lived. And I just kind of realized that at that young age, I thought it was, I was like, man, that's the way to do it. They got it made. I was like, here they are enjoying life and doing these things. And that's when I always thought it was pretty neat. So.
Yeah. Can't blame you there.
No.
Yeah.
So you have obviously supported yourself on the road because of your occupation where you are back and forth, working on tugboats.
Yeah.
But then you started a YouTube channel. Why did you do that, or how did that come about?
The YouTube channel, actually, it started out as just a private channel. We didn't go public with it. It was actually just a way for family members to follow along with our travels and see where we were at. My parents aren't too good with technology, so even just sending them videos and emails is kind of a struggle for them. So we thought, well, hey, if we do a YouTube channel, all the videos can be uploaded to the internet. All they have to do is go on YouTube and they can easily watch it. They don't have to download anything. We don't have to send them videos. So that was how that actually started. And oddly enough, they pretty much never watched the videos. So we found out they weren't really keeping up with it anyways and watching it. So what we decided to do was, I was always on Facebook RV pages helping people out, like all the Facebook groups for different campers and answering people's questions. Mm-hmm. And you notice a lot of the same questions kept coming up all the time. So my wife was like, geez, she's like, instead of always constantly typing out these answers and explaining, to people how to do things, she's like, why don't you just make a few videos on how to do it and then just like try putting those on the YouTube channel? So that's how we kind of decided to make the YouTube channel public. And we did sort of start off with our travels. We thought we had to. We're like, oh, we can't do a YouTube channel without being out west and going to the national parks. That's what you have to do. And, we were kind of stationary in Texas at the time. And we made a few videos on how to, do some maintenance and things like that. And we started realizing those were the videos that were getting a lot of the views and really helping people out. So over time, the channel kind of transitioned to more of a RV maintenance and, fixing things, product reviews and stuff like that. But we do plan on getting back to a little bit of both. We're going to get back into like documenting more of our travels as well.
Mm-hmm. Did you always know how to like repair things? Were you just that more inclined to that kind of stuff? How did you gravitate toward that?
People would never guess this, but I can't stand fixing stuff. No. I can't stand doing projects. I can't stand fixing things. I hate it. I don't consider myself very mechanically inclined whatsoever, especially when it comes to like engines. But I also don't like paying people to do stuff. I guess you could call me cheap or something. So there's this need of like either having to call out an RV tech to come fix something, which is, pretty expensive, or you have to take it into an RV shop, which isn't very convenient for full-time RVers. You can't just, hey, here's my camper for 3 months, get to it when you can, and I'm going to go stay in a hotel. So you're kind of forced into the, well, I better figure this out. So I'm a big researcher. So anything I do, I really research the heck out of it before I get into it. And I'll, if I got to fix a microwave, I'll just really start reading into it and researching it and things like that. And I think a lot of it also comes from the tugboat life. You have 4 or 5 guys living out on a tugboat out at sea. Things go wrong, you have to figure it out. You really don't have anyone else to turn to sometimes. You can't always go back to port or whatever you may be doing. So whether it's an engine problem on the tugboat or just some light bulbs or a refrigerator that goes out, you got to kind of troubleshoot it and figure it out. And so I think those two lives kind of go hand in hand with each other.
That's the first, Chris. You piqued my interest because you're not cheap. You're frugal, and
there you go.
I approach things the same way. I don't enjoy projects. I don't enjoy fixing things, but I will, and I see it as an opportunity to learn something. And you've taken that opportunity and you've paid it forward, and you're teaching people to do this. And it's funny because I went through your channel and I started watching your first videos, and they're like hours. And I'm like, oh, please don't watch that. I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm saying when we first started, it's just like you got to cut your teeth somehow.
You just have to start.
And I looked at your numbers. I'm like, look, Rose, here's the video that took off. Right. It's a repair. I forgot specific. It's like your 4th or 5th video in. I'm like, look at the numbers here. And you can see where he used his analytics to just start diving directly into repairing projects. And so
what people are searching for.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
They want a solution to the problem.
That's right. It's YouTube is the number 2 search engine on the internet behind Google. And as you guys know, when you need to fix something or a problem arises, where do most people go? They go to YouTube to learn how to solve a problem, fix it. You want the video, you want the visual. And, that's definitely something we caught on pretty early. And it was kind of funny because, like I said, we were already trying to help people anyways on the Facebook groups, and it was a lot easier to do a video. And again, don't get me wrong, it's a lot harder to get a project done or fix something when you have to film it. And there is that oh man, I really just, I don't have a lot of time. I need to get this water pump fixed, but it's an opportunity. I know someone else is going to have this problem. So let's go ahead. Let's get the camera out. Let's see if we can film this while we do the project. And then you're running into sound issues and lighting and all these other things you have to worry about besides just doing the project. And sometimes I get into these projects and I don't even know if I'm going to meet the end goal. I don't even know if I'm going to fix it. I'll literally be live shooting, troubleshooting as I'm making the video, and we'll just see where it goes together. And maybe we'll get there and we'll fix it. And sometimes maybe we won't. And I'm like, well, I guess we won't.
Documented it.
Yeah. So,
Chris, I appreciate your tenacity and,
your honesty about it.
Honesty. And you know what? I think I mentioned this to you when we met you and we were standing at the bar. I'm like, you're easy to watch. Your videos are engaging, but I think it's mostly because you're downright honest and you're not worried about the camera. You're like, I'm just going to work this out on the camera, and we can see that, and we feel that, and we like that.
That's cool. And I've told my wife that too, that we've seen, some other channels where it seems, I don't want to say fake, but a little bit more of a show, or they're just not being themselves. And I said, people, they can see through that. And I said, we really just kind of have to be us, love it or leave it. You'll either like it or you won't, and you get feedback. And that's it's just part of being on social media and YouTube and putting yourself out there. And some people like it. Some people hate it. Some people, they come on, they comment, and they're like, oh my gosh, just get to the point. They're like, oh, this video could have been 20 seconds. You could have just told us that. But then a lot of times I cut out too much information that would have been good and helpful for somebody else. So you try to take the feedback, but in the end, you kind of just got to do your own thing. And, people, like I said, they're either going to like it or, go somewhere else to find another channel. So, yeah.
All right. Well, while we're on the channel, you have continued to support yourself and what I consider one of the smartest entrepreneurial moves by building your business while you're keeping your day job. We'll call it day job, even though it's a 2-week job. And I think that's a fantastic and brilliant move. And it's something that needs to be conveyed to so many listeners that are trying to start a business. Do you feel like this has sort of been a natural progression, or did you plan it this way?
No, there wasn't much planning for it. There was never the idea of making money off YouTube. The whole technology and social media thing, that was not my world. I didn't have Facebook or Instagram. I didn't know how to use any of that stuff. I mean, you saw the first videos like we talked about, and even understanding how to film and edit, it's been such a learning process. But as we started to see the numbers kind of ramp up and take off, then it started becoming like, well, okay, this is kind of becoming a thing. And now we got to get more serious about it and put some money behind it and start learning how to advertise it through other social media forms. And it was quite a learning process. And then as you start to see, hey, this can be a good second income, a nice passive income, you do get more serious about it. And you do realize that now there's a little bit more expectations. Now you feel like there's deadlines. Now you feel like the quality needs to be higher. So it does start to become more like a business. And then you start working with other companies and you're doing emails. And it's been quite a learning process. And I am thankful for the other job because I'm not too sure, without having that time on my hands, while I do go away for 2 weeks at a time, we do have a lot of downtime out there on the tugboat. And that's when I can get all my editing done and my emails. And I just have to make sure I get all the filming done while I'm home. But I don't know if I could I'm not too sure if I could do the YouTube channel if I didn't have that kind of time on my hands. Because I just feel like I got so much going on at home. I don't know when I'd ever have time to edit video, to be honest with you. I don't think it would happen.
So right. The tugboat is a fourth break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But first, I want to tell you about the King Extend Pro 5G Cell Signal Booster, the ultimate solution for boosting your cell signal on the road. Perfect for RVs, trucks, and trailers, the King Extend Pro enhances voice and data coverage for all U.S. carriers. Enjoy better connectivity whether you're parked or on the move, with no contracts or monthly fees. Use the King Extend Pro Plus model and enjoy double the boosting power with a second set of antennas. Enjoy the mobile RV lifestyle while staying connected with 5G-ready technology and versatile mounting options. For more information, visit kingconnect.com and see why King has been an RV connectivity leader for over 2 decades. Our podcast listeners can save 15% with code RVE2024 at checkout. Yeah, can you just go into a little bit of the logistics, the other side, like you're flying back like 2 weeks back and forth? Where's your campsite? Are you always moving? Does your wife move it? Like, how does that work?
Sure. So my wife will not tow the fifth wheel. I
don't blame her.
We can get into that later. That's one of the reasons we're actually selling the fifth wheel, and we're going to be switching over to a Super C Class C, because she's not intimidated to drive that. So, basically, we don't move as fast as some people. And I think a lot of full-time RVers do get burned out because they move too fast. They're on the road every 3-4 days, constantly traveling. You stop somewhere, you see the 2 or 3 big attractions, and they move on. And I've talked to a lot of people, and they're just like, oh gosh, like we're finally sitting somewhere for a month and it just feels so good and we're just exhausted. And after 2 or 3 years, you see a lot of people quit full-time RVing because I think they just got burned out on it. So for us with Mara Logistics, we just can't travel like that because we have to camp somewhere within at least 2 hours of an airport. So I can always fly back and forth to work. An airport that is affordable on top of that. You start getting out west in some of these small airports, it gets pretty expensive to fly back and forth every 2 weeks. So we try to really set up shop and get a campground like a seasonal rate or a monthly rate where you can save a lot of money. And we like that too because you get to really explore the area. You really get to get a feel for the people and meet the people, and you get off the beaten path. You find all the hidden trails and the neat little hidden restaurants and talk to the locals. And I think you really find out, that area of the countries that you really like and you really enjoy instead of just kind of blowing through it all too quick. So as of now, we actually bought an RV lot. We own our own RV lot in an RV resort up in northern Georgia, right on the border in the mountains. And that is now our home base. And that's somewhere we've been a little bit stationary for a while. And again, I'll fly back and forth every 2 weeks. My wife will pick me up at the airport. But when we do start traveling again, we'll go down to Texas for the winters. And in the summertime, we'll do some like traveling. And it is hard because, I have a 2-week time period to get from point A to point B, to get to the next campsite, do everything I want to do and make sure my family's settled in a good spot where they're safe without me, where they're comfortable. And we have to leave a buffer zone for things to happen on the road. It's happened to us before. And I'm like, I got a flight. I got to catch out of, Vegas in 4 days. We got to get this axle fixed. We got to get going because the most important thing has always been to make sure I can get back to work.
Right.
For sure.
Those 2 weeks will be eaten up super quick.
They fly by, don't they?
They do fly by.
Yes. Yeah, especially when you're traveling and you're trying to get across country or something the whole time. It can be a little daunting, a little taxing.
Yeah. So, I mean, with your YouTube income and you have some other affiliate and other programs that you have income from, is the goal, you think, to step away from that occupation eventually and live off this digital income? Or do you really enjoy the tug life?
I'll tell you that I love my job. I feel like very few people can say that. I love my job as in I love the job. I don't have a passion for my job, if that makes sense. Some people are very passionate about what they do. I just love the job itself. I don't stress it. I don't mind being out there. I enjoy working with the other guys. The worst part of my job is missing family, but with technology nowadays and things like that, it's easy to FaceTime and things. And we always joke that it actually keeps our marriage pretty fresh because we miss each other for 2 weeks. Yeah. And then you come home, your time's limited. So you want to be around each other for 2 weeks. And then I think before we get on each other's nerves, I leave again. So we really hardly ever argue and fight. And I think the job is good for that. But to get back to the YouTube thing, yes, I would love to see it get to the point where I could actually retire from the tugboats and be home 24/7. As much as I don't mind the job and I love doing it and it doesn't bother me, at the same point, I would love to just, live freely on the road and with the family and things like that. But it's pretty scary. I know another YouTuber who recently did that. He kind of has a similar channel to mine, and he recently quit his job because he was making enough money, and he's just full-time YouTube and social media now. And I was like, man, that's pretty scary because it's one thing to cover your salary, but then you have to think about now I got to pay for medical, 401k, dental, just all the things you don't realize that, having a steady paycheck and the benefits that come with it. Now you don't have that. So, I think it would take a good bit. I think it would take a good bit for me really to step away from the main job on the tugboats. Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah. With the algorithms and all these things that change, it's a little risky, but hey, go for it sometimes if you got it.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of even how, that's kind of our life motto. Just, it's always been like, hey, why wait? Let's do it. No regrets. Right. It's even moving into the new RV that we're looking at buying. It's going to be smaller. It's going to be a lot smaller. The storage is going to be so like, I keep looking at my wife. I'm like, do you think we can do this? I mean, like, look at the storage. Like, can you have 2 pairs of shoes? Or like, I mean, it's like, I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, look at the cabinets. Just like compared to the fifth wheel, this is going to be a challenge, and we're going to document it all and put it all out there on YouTube. But the thing is, hey, let's go for it. If we don't like it, it's not the end of all. We can always switch back to a fifth wheel or anything else. So we'll try it for a year or two, see how it goes, and hopefully, we got to keep the main goal in mind, and that was to live the lifestyle of traveling around the country. And that's why we wanted to do this. And I told my wife the other day, I said, what's the point of living in the RV if we're just going to sit in the same spot? We can go back and buy a house if we're going to do this. It's like, we need to get back to traveling and get back on the road. So what's that going to take? And by having a Class C that she can drive, now she can meet me somewhere, and then I can fly to that spot. She can now travel while I'm at work, and we don't have to get like month or like seasonal sites all the time and things like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Exciting next chapter.
And a strong point too. What's the point of doing this?
Right.
Get back to actually traveling.
Yeah. Always try to remember the main goal of seeing the country and being outdoors and experiencing this while we can. We can always slow down later and this and that. So it was kind of like, hey, we bought the RV lot, and for the first 2 years that we owned our own lot, we never put the camper on it for 2 years because my wife's parents were on the lot. They were house hunting. So we let them use the lot while we didn't know they were going to be looking for a house for 2 years, but they finally found one, and they were moving off the lot. We told them like, hey, like, we're coming back from Texas. We need the place to stay. And, that's why we've been a little bit stationary for a while, because we were excited to get on the lot and start putting money into it and landscaping it and this and that. But we're ready to get back on the road now.
So speaking of the YouTube channel still, how do you come up with your next video?
I usually go to work, and I wait for my wife to break something while I'm gone. and then when I come home, I have something to fix and film. No, I mean, I'm just, she doesn't break the stuff, but oddly enough, it seems like stuff always happens when I'm gone. Oddly enough, I'm always getting a phone call when I'm off watch sleeping at, whatever time. And I'm like, oh, I was like, if she's calling me, I was like, this is bad news. I was like, there must be a leak. Something must have broke. She needs to know how to do something. And, sometimes we knock on wood because I'm like, man, it's like, I need to think of some video ideas. I need something to break. And sure enough, like a few days later, something breaks and I was like, oh, I should have never said anything. But so that's one aspect of sometimes it's just natural. It's just, a lot of the videos are just the everyday life of a full-time RVer, just to what you're going through with maintenance and stuff and buying new products and learning to use them and fixing things as they break. So there's not always too much like research that usually I don't have to look too far ahead. It's usually just kind of like, well, this needs to get done today. Let's go ahead and film it while we do it and kind of make a video. And there are other times where you try to capitalize on, say, maybe the time of the season. What are RVers going through with winter? What are they doing in springtime? Are they getting ready for storage? Let's do videos that correspond with, the times of the year and the seasons and things that are coming up that all the RVers are going to be going through as well. So that sometimes that'll, dictate the video that you need to make.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And I do want to point out that I went through some of your videos again, and one of my favorites that wasn't really a fix it was a how to back up your RV. And your tip
that was great.
On using the FaceTime was really, we've done videos on not necessarily backing up, but leveling your travel trailer and using hand signals. And, but we never thought of that. That is absolutely brilliant.
It's, I think the thumbnail or title of that video was, save your marriage.
Right. Yes, it was. It was.
That's great.
We all know the joke about backing up the RV and, it's just an ongoing joke. And it is true. As much as we talk about it before we get to the campground and it's like, all right, let's just, it's no rush. Let's back it up. We have all the time in the world. Let's take it easy. Like you kind of like get this, state of mind, like, but then once you're in the moment, all of a sudden, everything hits the fan and here we go. And it just gets like, and I always tell her, I really have no problem because once I'm in the campground, my stress level is like, boom, done. We've made it safe. I'm off because when I'm on the road, that's my stress level. Towing through tight towns or anything, all the things that can go wrong. I said, when I'm in the campground, I don't care if it takes me a half hour to back up. I don't care. Like it's time to just chill out. We'll get it in there eventually. I don't need it to be perfect. I don't care who's watching. But sure enough, we start talking and, the hand signals are going. And as much as we have it coordinated, it just never seems to work out. So I'm surprised nobody ever thought of it before because people have, we all have those backup cameras on the RVs. I don't really like that point of view. You can see what's back there behind you, but it's still kind of an odd view and you're actually missing a lot of what's close to the camper. So by FaceTiming each other, I said, hey, let's just FaceTime each other. That way we can still talk to each other. But if you hold the camera and film the back of the RV, now I can see the whole back of the RV. And it's just like a video game. I can see my vehicle, where it's going left and right. I can see exactly what's by it. And I just, a lot of people who have seen that video just thought it was a great tip. And so a lot of people were like, man, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. And it's our favorite way, to do it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant, sir.
Brilliant. Now,
yeah.
You are an RV tech as well?
No, I am not an RV tech. And I try to, there's quite a few videos where I try to stress that point to people. I usually tell people, I was like, hey, listen, you have to come up with your own decisions on what you want to do. Yes. I'm not an RV tech. I'm just some guy who is in the same boat as you. I need to solve this problem. I need to fix it. I'm going to do my research. If whatever the video may be about, go and watch 4 other people's channel on the same exact thing. You may get ideas from me and you may get some good ideas from another video on the same idea. Sometimes that's good to see another way that somebody else did it or somebody else will show you another way to do it. And I think that's always a good thing to, again, do your research, check out a few videos and you have to make your own informed educated decision on which route to go, on who you want to follow. Does this guy look like he knows what he's talking about? Or I don't know about that guy. I'm not going to do it like that. I just got a bad feeling about his video. So you can usually watch somebody and kind of get a good feel. I feel like if they kind of know what they're talking about or doing. So I'm not an RV tech. I have no background in that. Again, I just try to research everything I can, but it's just the way that I'm doing something. And again, you have the power to take it or leave it. you don't have to put a disclaimer on your videos or anything like that. Like, hey, disclaimer, like, I'm not going to be held responsible if you follow my video and, your wheel falls off. That's not my fault. You have to just kind of, again, make your best, decision if you feel like someone is giving you good information or not. I will say, I don't know if have you guys ever heard of the National RV Training Academy?
Yes. I was just going to ask about that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The guy, Todd Henson, he sort of runs it, and he does a lot of the classes down there. And a lot of YouTubers have probably seen him online. They have a good YouTube channel, and he is a certified master RV technician. And I started taking some of his at-home courses. They have an rvtechcourse.com, and you can take it from home. They have 2 different versions. And I will say right now, I wish I could have taken this class when I first started getting into RVing. After 6 years of everything I've been doing and learning, I've still learned so much stuff from taking this online class. I was like, wow, the information in here is so good. You learn everything you need to know about 12 volts and 120 volt and how these strange electrical systems combine and work in RVs, and how to troubleshoot things, and how to use multimeters, and all the stuff that a lot of people don't realize when they get into the full-time RV life, that it's going to be really good to know and really helpful. And you can go down to the National RV Training Academy in Texas, and you can take their RV Fundamentals course, which is a week long. And it's just a course for people who want to get into RVing and want to know more about how to fix things on their own. Or you can actually stay there for like 6 or 7 weeks. It's a legitimate college course, and you can take RV tech courses, RV inspector courses. You can start your business by doing that. But it's a great way to learn. And again, I think the online course is awesome because you can do it at your own pace.
Right. And since your channel is all about fixing things and maintenance, it seems appropriate that I think you offer some type of promotion, right?
Yeah, there is. If you guys go to the rvtechcourse.com, and if you're interested in that, you can use the code YWAIT, and you can get 40% off of that. And like I said, there's 2 versions. You can get like a thumbnail drive they're sent to you, so you always have the information on hand. You don't even need the internet, or you can just get the basic, version online. But even then, you always have access to it online. So anytime, because we all take these courses and you study and you learn something, well, that's cool. But 6 months later, when something breaks, you kind of forget all that information if you're not always using it. But what's cool about the online course is you can always go back to the information. It's right there on hand, broken up ACs, furnaces, refrigerators, water, and you can go back and be like, oh, okay, this is my problem. This is how to troubleshoot it. This is what I need to do. So it's just a great tool to have on hand. And I just can't recommend that course enough. And they're even actually flying me down. I fly out Saturday. I'm going down to Texas, and I'm going to actually take that week-long course down there and take the course and with Todd and everything. So I'm really looking forward to going down there and even getting more hands-on experience and things like that. So
very cool.
That is extremely cool. And the value of that for someone who might be boondocking in the middle of Arizona and miles away from getting a repair, to know how to fix things is
priceless.
It's priceless.
Mm-hmm.
No, it really is. It's huge. I mean, like you said, especially for people who boondock or a little bit more off grid or don't have access to, neighbors or an RV resort, or it's, even if you are handy and you consider yourself kind of a handyman and you can fix things, just everything's different in an RV versus a house. The plumbing's different. Again, the electricity's different. The refrigerators are different. So, the way everything works, it can be kind of eye-opening. So, I think even if you are a very handy person, it's still something you should look into taking if you've never done it before and you want to get in this lifestyle, because it can really save your day. It can save you a lot of money. You may pay for the course, but in the long run, I think if you're not calling out RV techs and doing these kinds of things, I think you're going to save a lot of money in the long run.
I agree.
Ever found yourself lost in the middle of nowhere with no signal? With the RV Life app, that's a thing of the past. Enjoy reliable offline navigation, lane guidance, and turn-by-turn voice directions, ensuring you're always on the right path. Navigate the open road with ease and confidence. Visit rvlife.com to download the app today and start exploring without limits.
Yep. Let's get back kind of into the business side of things, since this is the RV entrepreneur, and what you're doing with the YouTube channel and your affiliates is very entrepreneurial. What does being an entrepreneur mean to you?
What does an entrepreneur mean to me? I think the more that I get deeper into the whole YouTube channel, it's starting to realize that this is a business, and this is like running a small business. And I do feel like a small business owner. And I was telling some of the guys I work with, I was like, it's not just kind of making a channel, making videos. All of a sudden, like, I'm dealing with a lot of companies and emails going back and forth, and now contracts, and you're on time frames and deadlines. And as it grows, there's just more and more of that. And you start realizing, hey, you have to start learning more. And so it's kind of neat, because you do feel like I've never created or owned my own business or small business, but now it's starting to feel like my small business, and you can kind of market as and getting into the marketing aspect of it was learning the other social media aspects. And that was a big thing in the first 2 years. Some people ask me, how did you grow so quick? And I told them, I said, I really worked the heck out of it and promoted it. I said, I was on Facebook and Instagram so much, mostly on the tugboat, when I had downtime, that my thumb was actually starting to hurt, because I was just reaching out to other people and trying to collaborate, and I was trying to comment on other people's stuff and get my name out there as much as I could, and just really promote it, and just, really get it jump started, because I knew once it would get jump started, it would snowball and it would start rolling along. So I put a lot of work into it. I really did. I had some goals that I wanted to achieve after it started taking off. I was like, oh, wow, 1,000 subscribers, you get monetized. I was like, well, now I set a goal. I want to get to 5,000 for the end of the year. And I'd blow past that. And I'd set a new goal. And then I was like, okay, well, now I want to, work Instagram, and I want to try to grow that. And, you can get lucky. You can create a YouTube channel, and you have to sometimes get maybe that one viral video that really sets your channel off. And, if you do, and that happens for you, you need to run with it. You need to take that momentum and go, because that's your chance. When you get that one big video that may take off, you better get on the coattails of that and just keep putting it out there, because a lot of people don't ever get that chance, or miss that chance, or don't take advantage of it. And we had one video that kind of came out that I think kind of really got us going a little bit too. It was a air condition modification video. We made a modification to our AC system to get some more AC blowing in the campers, which is a great modification, by the way. And that one kind of took off a little bit, and we were like, oh, wow, look at this. And I took advantage of it, and it was like, let me put it out there. Let me promote this video. Let me show it to these Facebook groups. And so I think I kind of feel like as an entrepreneur now that, it's something that it's like our baby, and it's, you make your logo, and you go to these RV shows, and it still blows my mind when somebody like recognizes me out in public or something, and they come up to you, and I'm not even in campgrounds. We'll be like hiking on a trail. We'll be like at a winery or something. Somebody kind of looks at me, and they're kind of looking, and I can see they want to say something, and they're like, you have a YouTube channel, don't you? And I just started laughing, and I was like, yeah. I was like, it's so wild and strange that people recognize you out in public like you're some kind of celebrity or something. It just blows my mind. And then sometimes people don't even want to come up to you and talk to you. They're like, oh, I didn't want to bother you. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm just some guy in the campground. I'm like, yeah. So it's pretty funny.
That is funny.
Well, Chris, First of all, let me validate that you are a small business owner now. Rose and I were for business owners for 20 years. We sold our business. Everything that you're describing is exactly what we did to build, run, and sell our business, first off. Second of all, you just gave the absolute best advice for anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel, is to ride that coattail of the first one that takes off, and don't come for air.
Yep. And be consistent.
Yeah. It's, if you're doing it for a hobby or you're doing it for fun, that's fine. A lot of people do that. They don't take it too serious, and they enjoy making the videos, and they just want to document it, and they have a good time. And if something happens, it happens, cool. But I see a lot of other people who they do really want, they want something to come from it. And, but maybe they're not putting as much time into it as they need to, the same way you would have to grow a small business. Like, hey, this isn't going to be easy. It really is work, and you need to strive at it, and you need to come up with better ideas. You need to come up with better quality. You need to do your research. So much goes into analytics. The title of the video and the thumbnail is one of the most important things you can do. And I learned that too. And I'll tell you right now, I hate the thumbnails.
Yeah.
Because the YouTube thumbnail, as you guys know, it is what catches people's eye.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of it can be misleading. And unfortunately, so much of it has to be somewhat like that. It's like this game you play.
Mm-hmm.
You can have the best video in the world with the best information, but if YouTube's algorithm doesn't want to put it out there, no one's going to watch it, no one's going to find it, no one's ever going to see it.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do? Well, when people are scrolling through YouTube, you have 2 seconds to catch their attention on that thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to use the facial expression and oh my and disaster and all these catchy words. And then people open the video and half the time it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Clickbait, right?
A hard fine line that you have to.
It is. You have to balance this from not being untruthful. I would love to just make a video and have the thumbnail be fix your water pump. And the title is how to fix your water pump. That's cool for the people who search. When someone searches that, you're going to get that crowd. But you're not going to get anybody else besides people who literally type in how to fix my water pump. Everybody else is just going to go by that video. Now, if I have a thumbnail of my camper overflowing with water and me with a shocking face and oh my gosh, and tragedy has happened to our fifth wheel, people want to click on that. And then if you do, you got them. Cool. But you better not mislead them too much. You better catch them. And then you have to catch their attention in that first 30 seconds of the video.
Right.
Show them a little bit of what happened. But then, let them know what the video is about and getting into it. So it's a fine line of I hate playing that game. And I try to keep the title most on point about what the video is going to be about while putting some interest and, to catch your eye a little bit in the thumbnail. But you feel kind of dirty almost when you're just making these thumbnails to get people's attention, but it seems to be the game that everybody plays. So
it is. These are real world analytics, honestly, not the analytics that you open up in Google. This is real world. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And I'll tell you, there is one channel who goes too far with it. Obviously I'm not going to say their name, but to where it seems like you would think that RVing is the end of the world. Right. That RV life is the worst thing you could possibly ever do with your life because each week it is disaster. And then you kind of click on the video and there may be like 20 seconds of something that was somewhat bad. It's very misleading. And it's just like, gosh, I was like, and I'll even say that you see a lot of comments where people like, the audience doesn't like that. They'll catch on and they say stuff like, hey, this video is nothing about that. And so we try to keep the channel as original and as real as we can. And even to go further into like analytics of product review, you'll catch a lot of flack for reviewing products because you have to earn the viewer's trust if I'm going to recommend a product to you.
Right.
And I even did a whole video where I wanted to sit down and break down to my viewers and talk about why we choose the companies I work with, why I do the product reviews I do, and that it's not just because someone's paying me to do it and talk about it, because I have to stand behind these things. And I would hate for someone to meet someone in real life and be like, my gosh, I can't believe you promoted that. That's the worst thing ever. And I know you just got paid to do that. So I sat down and I explained it to people, my viewers, and said, these are the companies I work with. Sometimes I approach them. Sometimes they approach me. I tell them I want to use their product for a while. It's only going to talk about something I believe in, that I personally use myself. And I also told my viewers that my expectations may not be the same as yours, though. Just because I do love something and I do use it and it did work for me, it may not work for you. But that doesn't mean you need to come back to me and say, hey, this was the worst thing ever, this and that. Well, everyone's experiences with something is going to be different.
Sure.
So, that's another fine line you have to, there's a lot of people who are good at, they'll just take free stuff and just review anything just to make money from the company, just to push the product. They now own 5 electric bikes because they're reviewing all of them. And I don't like that dishonesty either. And that's why I did a whole video where I broke it down to my viewers. Like, I'm very careful about the products and companies that I work with and stuff like that. Only the ones I use myself and that I trust and things like that. So
you have real integrity.
Yeah.
I try, because like we talked about before, I feel like people, just see through anything that's fake and stuff like that. So
you are absolutely right. Are you willing to get into any of your specific YouTube analytics or monetary side of it, just for the sake of the listener, if they're starting something like this?
Yeah, I mean, if they're curious about actual numbers, like money that we bring in, yeah, sure. I'll say we are a YouTube channel that I don't feel like we're big, but I guess we're maybe in the mid-size now. I'll tell you right now, I actually don't watch too many other YouTube channels. I always feel bad when we meet a bunch of other YouTube people, because I just don't really have time to watch other YouTube channels. So we meet all these people who watch my channel. I'm like, it's like, I don't watch your channel and this and that. I'm sorry. But at our size, we're about 46,000 subscribers, and subscribers isn't really the end be all of everything, because I guarantee you, and I talked to another big channel who has about 150,000 subscribers. And I asked him, I said, what percentage of people who view your videos are actually subscribed? Because I felt like mine was kind of low, because I'm not a channel where you come back each week to see what the family's doing. I'm not a TV show like some families. They want to follow the family. They want to see what they're doing each week. And they have a strong core of subscribers who come back each week to watch what they're doing. You're going to come to my channel when it's time to fix something, repair something, maybe check out a project. So I was really thinking, man, like I'm only getting like maybe 15% of my subscribers watching the videos. So I asked this other guy who has a similar channel to mine, but it's much bigger. And I said, what's your percentage of subscribers that actually watch each video? And he's like, oh man, he's like, it's so low, it's nothing. And he told me it was about the same thing, about 15%. And I was like, wow, really? And he's like, yeah, he's like, most of the time people either they just don't subscribe, they may keep watching, but they don't hit the subscribe button, or they don't come back each week. So you're really always getting so many new subscribers. So much of my audience is new viewers compared to subscribers, which is good because you're always getting growth. But I found those analytics to be very shocking. So I don't even base everything. Everyone wants to base everything on subscribers, but I try to base my videos and analytics on watch time hours.
Yes.
How many people are staying put and actually staying to watch the video, not just clicking on it. Even views can be not a very good number to go by. You can get a lot of views, a lot of clicks, and then they're gone in 20 seconds. So are they staying put? Are they watching till the end? So I think watch time hours is good. So you can really get into the analytics, but I would say that during a good month now in the summertime, as somewhat of an established YouTube channel, we're about 4 years old right now. And again, it took the first 2 years to get any kind of growth. I'd say just with YouTube alone, from the YouTube ads is how you make your money. We can bring anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 a month on YouTube. Mm-hmm. That's on the peak season, camping season. Like right now, the numbers are they fall off big time in November, December, January. Mm-hmm. Our YouTube channel really goes with the seasons, and you'll see it ramp back up in February, March, April, as people start to buy and prepare and they're ready to get outside. You'll see those numbers ramp back up. And YouTube is not the only way that we make money. Amazon affiliate brings in some good money by when folks click on our Amazon links. We recommend a product to people. They click on the Amazon link. It doesn't cost them any more money to click on the link, but we do get a small percentage from Amazon for sending that viewer to Amazon. And it really helps support the channel and it really does help out with that. So as a YouTuber, you make money from the YouTube ads, you make money from Amazon affiliate, you make money from working with companies and the commissions you may get. Sometimes companies pay us money to do videos. You have a set rate that you may charge that company to do either a long video or just a 30-second ad. And maybe like, well, if you guys want to do a 30-second ad with your product, which I use all the time anyways, and maybe a couple $100 and things like that. And you kind of have to do your research on even to figure out where to set those numbers and what am I supposed to charge somebody and things like that. It's another part of the business that you don't think about and kind of getting into.
Yeah, I see those questions a lot. Like, I'm new to this working with a company, in the Facebook groups, and they're like, what should I charge for this? But there's no real set number. It's tough. And
you'll be surprised. it's a great form of advertising for these companies. They are really getting off easy. They're going to put their product right in front of the viewer that's going to use it the most. Instead of just having it run on TV, 1% of the people may be interested in that. They're putting it right here for RV people. It's an RV product, and it's a great way for these companies to really get their products out there. So everyone always says, know what you're worth. Don't just kind of do stuff for free and just let the companies take advantage of you. If you're putting the time into making these videos and you're using their product and you really like it and you want to promote it, you should make some money from them. And, don't be afraid to ask for something. All they can do is say no, and you can negotiate different terms.
Exactly. Know your value.
Yep.
As I was watching some of your videos, the quality of work that you do is profound. And the modifications you make are the ones that really should be made. And I'm thinking about like the new axles and the new suspension system and the right bearings and the disc brakes and everything that you did. By the way, whoever buys that fifth wheel is going to get one amazing rig.
There's somebody currently talking to us that they're going to come up and look at it next week. So we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Well, they should buy it. I hope they do. I see another business evolving here. You could easily set up shop and do nothing but restoration on Grand Designs and do exactly what you did to yours and have a very lucrative business.
It is such an important thing when you hit the road. And the family that is actually interested in buying our fifth wheel, it's kind of funny. It's much like us. I asked them, I said, have you guys ever RV'd before, or have you owned an RV? Nope, they've never owned an RV, and they want a full-time RV, and they want to jump right into it. And they have a little boy who's about 5 years old. And I said, you guys are us 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. Our little boy was about 4 years old when we jumped into this. We wanted the Solitude mid-bunk. And I said, there's so much free. I hope you've been doing your research, because that's what I did before we got into it. I tried to research so much stuff. And he didn't know that we had a YouTube channel, and he found the RV listed on RV Trader. But then he went back. I told him, well, we do have a YouTube channel. You can go back. You can look at the camper if you want to know more about it. He went back and watched. He goes, I have seen some of your videos before, which was kind of funny. And I told him, I said, some of the most important upgrades that you can do for your family and the safety of them and everything going down the road are the modifications that have been done to this RV. Is the undercarriage, the suspension, the hydraulic disc brakes, the upgraded axles, and the Comfort Ride shocks. I said, just to have that peace of mind going down the road, knowing that everything is so much more robust and safer down there, it's just, you can't buy that. I was like, these RVs should come out with these things to begin with. I don't know if they just don't want to make the price point too high, but I try to, I was telling him just how great it is to have a system like this right from the get-go, because not only is it protecting you and your family going down the road from accidents, but also everything you own is now being pulled behind you. Everything is in that camper, and it's just going to save you time and headache and money going down the road when you have these modifications done. And those are some of the biggest and most important ones.
So, you nailed it. And I am a stickler for those particular improvements. So
it's something I wanted to do right when we first got the RV, but we didn't have the money for it, and it just took time, and so, and I think that's what everyone kind of has to do, slowly. I mean, some people can do it right from the get-go, and that's awesome. If you can, get this thing from the factory, get these things, added on right away. If not, sometimes you have to take your time and get a few modifications at a time as you go along, as you can afford them,
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Chris, so you guys, what's next for you guys? You're looking into that Super C, Class C?
Yes.
You've got, you already have your Toad?
We do. We're jumping right in. We're hoping by January to maybe sell everything we have and switch over to the Super C and the Jeep. And hopefully that gets us back on the road and we start doing some more traveling. So we're hoping by this summer that we can, we want to go to a couple trips we've been putting off forever. We want to get to the Great Lakes region and go through Michigan, Wisconsin. We want to get up to New England. My wife has never been up to that area. So we're kind of getting excited about it again. We're kind of getting excited. We're getting the itch to start traveling. And then hopefully when we're on the road, then we can also rent out the RV lot that we own. Because we were going to keep the fifth wheel and buy the Super C. We were going to do both because we just weren't too sure if we could live in the Class C. And we were going to keep the fifth wheel as always coming back to the home base. But then we were like, well, we miss out on that money opportunity of renting out this lot. So we're going to go ahead and sell the fifth wheel and then hopefully, be able to rent that lot out while we're not on it too. Mm-hmm. So we're excited. I'm excited to just get back there and get back to the whole point of why wait, live life now. Let's do this. Let's travel. Let's see it while we're young and our knees are still working and we can still hike. And, we have 2 older boys. I mean, they're grown up and they're both gone and in the military, but we still have the one youngest boy with us. And, I think it's just great for him to see the country and experience all this while he still can too. So
I totally agree. We have 2 young boys. Well, they're not so young anymore, but
goes fast.
14-year-old and 11-year-old. And when we started, it was 7 and 10. And that was the greatest experience for them. So that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. I think they'll look back on their life and just realize what a special life compared to other people, sometimes how neat it was, what they got to see and do. And at least that's what we hope.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So, Chris, where can we find you online and your YouTube channel?
On YouTube, you would just type in Why Wait. That's where you can find us on YouTube, and then on Instagram and Facebook, pretty much the same thing. It's just going to be Why Wait on there as well. And I believe on Instagram it might, because I think Why Wait was taken. I think it's actually like __ Why Wait _ if you want to get technical about it.
Right.
But usually if you just type in like Why Wait RV, it's always going to come up. And you guys can always find us there. And if you find us on the YouTube channel, you can find the links to the Instagram and the Facebook stuff as well. And on the Instagram, it's a lot more about our daily life and things like that. So yeah.
Right. Oh, well, Chris, this has been so much fun. We really appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, your journey, and the ways that you support yourself on the road, and how transparent you were. So that's great.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah.
And if you're traveling, you're going, leaving Georgia and you're heading up to New England, we're in Delaware. So maybe we'll catch up and see you on your way up. That would be great.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, we'll keep that in mind. Yeah, that's a great thing. Always having people and friends across the country that you can meet up with doing this lifestyle.
Yes. So, it's what makes it worth it. The friends.
Yep. So we wish you continued success and we wish you well.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
We loved hearing about Chris's journey into full-time RV living and the evolution of his YouTube channel, Why Wait? And we're super impressed with his ability to manage a demanding tugboat job, which is super cool, while RVing and creating content sharing invaluable tips on RV maintenance and education. Chris truly embodies the spirit of adaptability and community. Chris's emphasis on community, continuous learning, and maintaining integrity in content creation is something we can all take to heart. His tips on RV maintenance and the benefits of the RV tech course were eye-opening, especially for anyone looking to become more self-sufficient on the road. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a review, sharing it with a friend, or subscribing so you don't miss out on future episodes. And don't forget to check out Chris's YouTube channel, Why Wait, for more RV tips and insights. Thanks again for tuning in. We are super grateful for your support, and we can't wait to bring you more stories from incredible entrepreneurs living life on the road. We'll see you next time on the RV Entrepreneur Podcast. Safe travels.
Your RV adventures are worth sharing. With an RV Life profile, you can connect with a community of RV enthusiasts, engage in meaningful conversations, and inspire others on their journey. It's not just about where you go. It's about the memories you make and the people you meet along the way. Start sharing your unique RV experiences at rvlife.com.